Hello friends, I welcome you all to our next watch and learn session. As you all know, in these watch and learn sessions, we discuss some important concepts voted by you students. In watch and learn session, I'm going to introduce new concept from today. At the end of this session, I'm going to ask you a few questions and you have to answer those questions in the chat box. I will try and correct your answers and will also discuss what are going to be the correct answers for the questions that I'm going to ask. In today's watch and learn session, as per the voting that has been conducted in the last week, monetary policy is selected as a topic of discussion. Remember, monetary policy is one of the most important policy handled by Central Bank of India, that is Reserve Bank of India, and that's why it is important from all the exams that we conduct. Okay, so let's study monetary policy. But remember, whenever we are going to discuss this monetary policy, we are going to answer 4 different questions, and through these 4 different questions, we are going to cover entire topic of monetary policy. So the first question that we are going to answer is, what is the meaning of monetary policy? Okay, so we are going to discuss what are possible definitions, what are different definitions, and what meaning comes out of those definitions. Okay, so first part is we are going to discuss what is the meaning of monetary policy. Second question that we are going to discuss is, who handles the responsibility of monetary policy in India? Okay, so it is said to be central bank, but let's see which institution is responsible for handling monetary policy in India. Then third important question that we are going to answer is, to what ends? Means here we are going to discuss what are various goals and objectives of monetary policy that is framed in India. And the fourth and most important question is, what are various instruments? That is, what tools and techniques are used by the institutions that have a responsibility to give effect to monetary policy in India. Okay, so let's start answering different questions. Let's handle first question. That is, what do you mean by monetary policy? Remember, monetary policy can be defined by 2 different ways. The first is functional aspect, or we can say monetary aspect of monetary policy, or economic aspect. The first one is economic definition. According to economic definition, policy of central bank in the matters of 3 distinct things. Remember, policy of a central bank. Central bank means a centralized banking institution working in any economy. It produces some kind of policy objectives. It produces some kind of policies to 3 different ends. What are they? First, when the policy is made in relation to interest rate. Second, in case of money supply, and in case of availability of credit. Remember, any policy made by central bank which has influence on interest rate, money supply, and availability of credit is called as monetary policy. Remember, this is economic definition. This is theoretical definition. But at the same time, we have statutory definition of monetary policy. Remember, statutory means whenever monetary policy is defined by any statute in your parliament. In the legislature, we frame some kind of acts and legislations, and in those legislations, we define what do you mean by monetary policy. So what is the statutory definition for monetary policy in India? The policy of central bank regarding use of monetary instruments under its control to achieve goals specified in the act. So remember, there is Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Okay, and in this act, monetary policy making has been the responsibility of central bank, and there are certain explicitly mentioned objectives. Okay, so whenever central bank uses some monetary instruments so as to give effect to this clause or this section in RBI statute, we call it as monetary policy making, or this is called as monetary policy. So remember, this is statutory definition. The first definition was functional or economic definition, and this comes from a statute which defines the monetary policy. Now, second question that we must answer is, who handles the monetary policy making in India? Remember, till 2015-16, Reserve Bank of India had sole authority to look after monetary policy. But after 2016, we introduced new organization for monetary policy making, and that institution is called as Monetary Policy Committee. Remember, Monetary Policy Committee comes in picture mainly after Section 45ZB, which was added in the 1934 RBI Act. This amendment was made at the same time, and another section was added. That section is Section 45ZB. Now, according to this 45ZB, there should be 6-member monetary policy with the Reserve Bank of India, and this 6-member monetary policy will take all the decisions in relation to the monetary policy initiatives or monetary policy stance. Now remember, 3 members of this institution are brought from RBI, and 3 members are brought from government nomination. So 3 members are nominated by government, and 3 members are nominated by Reserve Bank of India, and one among them is Governor of RBI. Okay, and Governor of RBI is also chairperson of this institution, that is Monetary Policy Committee. And at the same time, this Reserve Bank of India governor, he has casting vote. Remember, casting vote means whenever there is tie, for example, 3 persons have voted against the policy stance and 3 persons have voted in the favor. In such case, it is called as deadlock situation, and in this situation, the final verdict is given by Reserve Bank of India governor. Okay, so Reserve Bank of India governor is also chairperson, he's also a member of this body, and he has also casting vote. Remember, decisions are generally taken by consensus, but there is also voting, and majority voting is followed here while taking any decision for Monetary Policy Committee. So we have answered first 2 questions. What are they? First, that is, who is responsible for preparing monetary policy in India, and what is the meaning of monetary policy? Now, next question that we are going to answer is, what are various goals and objectives of monetary policy? Remember, the first and foremost goal of any monetary policy anywhere in the world is price stability. Now, what do you mean by price stability? Every economy has some certain price systems. Okay, the prices of goods and services. For economic growth to take place, to have confidence of investor on your economy, the prices of commodities, they need to be stable. If the commodity prices are fluctuating every now and then the investors lose confidence into those economies, and there is downside to economic growth. Okay, so to avoid such situation, it is the responsibility of a central bank to look after stability of prices of goods and services, and that's why it is the foremost objective of any monetary policy framed anywhere in the world. Then second important objective in front of any monetary policy is to promote economic growth and employment generation. Remember, what is the main purpose of putting money into economy? To generate employment, to boost economic growth, and to give rise to employment generation. So it is second objective of any monetary policy. Then third objective is equilibrium in BOP, that is balance of payment. In simple terms, it means keeping your exchange rates, foreign exchange rates, stable. Okay, so this is the third objective. But remember, monetary policy framed by different institutions subscribe to one of the objectives from this list. For example, some economies may choose equilibrium in balance of payment as the head objective. Some economies may choose price stability as their objective. Now, if we take example of India, you all know that inflation targeting is the main objective of Indian monetary policy. What is it? Inflation targeting. So price stability is the main objective and the only objective, and the evaluation of success or failure of monetary policy in India is evaluated in terms of the stability of prices maintained by the monetary policy. Okay, so remember, monetary policy in India has inflation targeting as their main and only objective, but at the same time they also look after equilibrium in BOP. Okay, but when I want to evaluate the success and failure of monetary policy, I will evaluate strictly on the basis of price stability achieved by monetary policy in India. Okay, so these are some of the important objectives. Then the next important question that we are going to answer is, what are various types, or we can also say stance in monetary policy? Now, there are two types of monetary policy which are named differently. First type is called as expansionary monetary policy or easy money policy, और इसको हम cheap money policy भी कह सकते हैं. They all mean one and the same. Now, what do you mean by expansionary monetary policy? Whenever monetary policy is aimed at promoting economic growth, it increases the total stock of money supply in economy. So Reserve Bank of India expands the total stock of money, it expands the total quantum of money, and there is increase in the total credit available for lending, and at the same time money is made cheaper, and this is called as expansionary monetary policy. Remember, when this policy is adopted, whenever any economy is in doldrums mean whenever economy is facing some kind of economic problems, then Reserve Bank of India pumps huge amount of money into economy so that economic activity may be accelerated or economic activity can be promoted. So such policy is called as expansionary monetary policy. Then second is contractionary monetary policy. इसको हम tight monetary policy भी बोल सकते हैं. It is also called as dear money policy. Now, what do you mean by contractionary? It is exactly opposite to expansionary. In contractionary monetary policy, Reserve Bank of India tries to reduce the total stock of money. It tries to reduce the total volume of money supply. To what ends? To check the price increase, or we can simply say inflation. Generally during inflation targeting, if I want to control the quantum of inflation in your economy, I will go for contractionary monetary policy. Remember, contractionary monetary policy is generally adopted whenever there is overheating of economy. Whenever you drive vehicle beyond its speed limit, whenever you drive vehicle too fast for too long, the vehicle starts overheating and you have to cool down that vehicle. Okay, same case is here. Whenever economy is performing better and better, and if the engine of economy is running very fast, it translates into inflationary cycle. Economy enters into a spiraling inflation. Now, to handle spiraling inflation, what we can do is we can address it by contractionary, by sucking money from economy, and this is called as contractionary monetary policy. Okay, now let's answer final question, that is, what are various instruments used by monetary policy committee for giving effect to different stance in monetary policy. Now we can classify monetary policy instruments into two types. One is called as quantitative instruments to monetary policy, and second is called as qualitative instruments. Okay, now what do you mean by quantitative instruments? Here, the amount of or the total stock of money supply is our main concern. So whenever I use this instrument, the total stock of money either increases or decreases. So whenever I want to increase or decrease the quantity of money supply or total money available in the market, I will go for quantitative instruments. Okay, and if I want to change the distribution of available credit, so money is already available, but which sector should get most of the money, which sector should be demotivated so as to get money. So whenever I want to change the distribution or availability of credit for different sectors in economy, I will go for qualitative instruments. Okay, now let's discuss some examples of quantitative instruments. Now, quantitative instruments are classified into three types. Okay, first is called as policy rates. Now, there are three examples of policy rates used during monetary policy. First is repo rate, second is reverse repo rate, and third is bank rate. Remember, they are called as policy rates. Then we have policy ratios. Here we have statutory liquidity ratio, then cash reserve ratio, and third most important tool is open market operations. Remember, what is the objective of all these instruments? These instruments, they change the total stock of money. Okay, so whenever I increase policy rates, there is either increase or decrease. Whenever I change policy rates, there either increase or decrease in the total stock of money. Same is the case with policy ratio, and same is the case with open market operations. Okay, so do remember that these are various tools used by Monetary Policy Committee so as to control price stability in India, and they are mainly controlling the total quantity of money in Indian markets. So that's why they are called as quantitative tools of monetary policy. Then next is qualitative instruments. As you all know, they only change the availability among different sectors, availability of money among different sectors. For example, if I want to make credit available easily for agricultural sector, I will make it available by using some kind of tools and techniques. If I want to discourage availability of credit to luxurious consumption, then what I will do is I will make it harder for those consumptions to get money. Okay, so this is called as qualitative instruments. They simply give effect to distribution of credit among different sectors. Now, what are various types of we can say qualitative instrument? First is margin requirement. First is called as margin requirement. Okay, now what do you mean by margin requirement? Whenever you go to purchase a vehicle, and if you are going to bank, the bank will ask you to pay either 15 to 20% of the total amount that is needed to purchase the vehicle. Okay, and bank will only give you 80 to 85% of the amount. Okay, now this 15 to 20% to be deposited by the customer is called as margin requirement. If the margin requirement is high, there is general tendency to avoid such consumption, and if margin requirement is very low, then in such cases people will easily go for generating credit. Okay, so remember, margin requirements are essential tool so as to change the availability of credit for different sectors of economy. Then second is called as credit rationing. जैसे हमारे यहाँ पे कोटा रहता है, हर एक सेक्टर के लिए एक स्पेसिफिक कोटा है और वो कोटा कंप्लीट करना होता है किसी भी बैंक को, सो उसको हम बोल सकते हैं क्रेडिट रेशनिंग. एंड थर्ड इज कॉल्ड एज मॉरल सुएशन. Through different circulars, directions, and discussion papers, Reserve Bank of India put certain guidelines, put certain behavioral or moral, we can say, guidelines in front of various banking institutions about how they should lend money. ओके, सो इट्स कॉल्ड एज मॉरल सुएशन, जिसको हम कह सकते हैं कि समझाना. एक डिफरेंट तरीकों से रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया समझाने की कोशिश करता है इधर बैंकिंग इंस्टीट्यूशंस को दैट हाउ दे शुड लेंड मनी टू डिफरेंट सेक्टर्स. ओके, सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज क्वालिटेटिव इंस्ट्रूमेंट. Dear friends, keep in mind that these are some of the critical details of monetary policy in India, and so if you are going to discuss monetary policy, these are some of the details that you should know. If you have any doubt, you can ask questions in the comment box that is below. Thank you.